Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, welcome into The Monty Show, NBA playoff preview. Right here on the channel, as always, presented by Bucked Up, the official energy drink of The Monty Show. In the description below, make sure you get your free samples of Bucked Up Energy, any 3 samples you want, and a free shaker cup, which is the best shaker in the business. Trust me when I say that. Bucked Up Energy, the official energy provider of The Monty Show. We have got a lot of NBA to get to today. Obviously, with the NBA playoffs underway, we're watching the Boston Celtics not shoot very well, and they're still up 10 on Atlanta. That's in the first quarter. 2:40 to go there. We'll keep you up to date on that as the show goes on. Now, Jake, we're going to start the show with you, and I don't know, is the right way to say this, apologizing to Portly Bro with a beard in Philadelphia. As the Philadelphia 76ers roll over Brooklyn 121-101. And I dare say they were led by your favorite target of hate and slander on this show, James Harden, with 23 points, 13 dimes. Joel Embiid had 26-5 rebounds. But you have to give James Harden some credit. I thought he played really well.
Yeah, I think, watching James Harden in the playoffs, obviously is a lot of fun. I mean, I think he obviously had a great game. I think what's really interesting about James Harden right now is obviously he's not, this lightning quick guy anymore, right? He's not the exact same player he used to be, which is what I all think that we kind of equate him to, is like this guy, he's still the same guy he was in Houston, or he's like still the same guy he was early in his career, and he's not that guy, but at the same time, he's also this guy that, is a plus 20 for his team. He's also a guy that, finds the balance of being a scorer and a distributor, and I think that's what that is the path to Philly getting over the top, in my opinion. That's the path to Philly kind of figuring out how can we get to the conference finals this time instead of the second round.
Yeah, and I think James Harden is the key to that team. I mean, you're going to always be able to count on Joel Embiid. It's why I think he's going to be the NBA MVP this year. But in my opinion, I think James Harden is going to take them as far as they're going to go, because Joe can't do it on his own. I think we saw today that Tobias Harris is going to struggle. I just am not. I am not a Tobias Harris guy in leverage situations, and he's got tough guards in that Brooklyn series. But by the way, Mikal Bridges is playing out of his mind. Would the Phoenix Suns enjoy the opportunity to have Mikal Bridges on their roster today?
Yeah, I mean, I think, so for Mikal, I think the interesting thing is like going to Brooklyn in the KD trade, like he's got a lot more opportunity now. I mean, this is obviously his time to show, just how deep the bag is, if you will, just how broad your skill set is. And I think he's done a great job of that. I mean, again, like I don't think anybody saw Mikal Bridges being this guy that could take you in the mid-range, could take you to the rack, could do all these things offensively, because that wasn't his role in Phoenix. And I think a lot of people forget that the NBA is a team sport, and there are guys who just play roles but could do more in a different situation. And Mikal is definitely one of those guys. So to me, like I love seeing him, like 30 points, 5 rebounds. Like you had a big night. And I think, your team lost, but no one's surprised by that. You shouldn't even be here. So for me, like Bridges in this postseason is all about him just making his money. And I think he's doing a great job of that, frankly.
Do you buy into Philadelphia? Even with what you saw today, which I think was a rusty team.
Yeah.
But do you buy into Philadelphia being a finals contender? Because I do. I think the East is as open as we've seen it in some time. I'm a big believer that with James Harden firing on all cylinders, there's no reason to think that the East can't be won. And I think a lot of people, clearly the boys in Vegas, we're going to talk about championships odds coming up in a minute, but the boys in Vegas love themselves the Milwaukee Bucks, and I totally understand that. But if James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid are rolling, I don't see any reason the Philadelphia 76ers can't be a legitimate threat for the NBA championship. And James Harden, you're right. I totally agree, is not the same guy that he was in Houston. I don't think he'll ever be that guy anymore. But he is more than capable of carrying a team offensively, because I do think he carried them this afternoon. I think his three-point shooting, his handle, his ability to move the basketball, I really thought that was a difference in this game. And so I do believe that James Harden is capable of carrying them on certain nights to very high levels. And if that continues throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs, I think they have a chance to win the East.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the box score and how these stats kind of play out between Embiid and James Harden, the picture that it paints is very clear. I mean, you have Joel Embiid going 11-11 from the line. Meanwhile, James Harden doesn't take a free throw in this game. And that tells me all I need to know about what James Harden is doing, which is putting guys like Embiid in a good position to score. Putting guys, Reed off the bench with a couple of highlight reel plays. Had himself a nice little, 11-point performance in 13 minutes. Like, James Harden was feeding him, So, like, to me, I just look at the box score and I say, yeah, if Embiid can stay healthy and Maxey continues to give you at least 15 off the bench, you should be in a good position. The only question is going to be when you start playing the best teams in the East, the Bostons, the Milwaukees.
And there you go.
Like what the bench is going to come into play, because, Montrezl Harrell played garbage minutes in this game for 2 minutes. He should be more of a contributor than he is, and that's why I say,
you're gonna be all right over there.
Yeah, I'm choking up a little bit. It happens sometimes
because James is good, and it's hard for you to talk about it.
Yeah,
which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder about Montrezl Harrell, and I wonder. I mean, obviously, this Brooklyn series is not a great matchup for him. They don't have a banging center, but I think as you get deeper into the playoffs, I mean, if they run into an Atlanta, there's no doubt that's a good Montrezl Harrell series. Even a Boston. I think there's no doubt with the way Williams is playing for Boston that's a Montrezl Harrell matchup. Like there are places where Montrezl Harrell will be important, but I'm just curious to see. I'm curious to see how this team stays together. Mm-hmm. I'm also curious, by the way, to see in the Knicks game tonight, coming up at 4 o'clock on ESPN. I'm very interested to see if Julius Randle is going to be out there and how limited he's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the reports coming out to say that he's going to test the ankle pregame and see, how he's feeling. But if you know Julius Randle, the guy's a competitor. You know that the guy is gonna be out there. I mean, I mean, unless the guy just can't walk, I would guess that Julius Randle is going to play. And I think, this is the moment we've all been waiting for Donovan Mitchell. I like the talk about whether this guy's legit or not has been put to bed. The guy can give you 40 on any given night. He can carry a team offensively in basically any game, but this is why you asked for a trade or you said, hey, I'm open to being traded when you were a Jazz man, because you wanted to play in meaningful playoff games and you wanted that to be this year, not 5 years from now or 3 years from now. And now it's time. So Monday, if, Donovan Mitchell has an awful performance, I'm not going to have nice things to say about Donovan Mitchell. It's high time that Donovan Mitchell shows that he was worth trading for, that he was, the guy that is going to deliver for Cleveland, and he's the guy that can carry a young team through at least one series, if not two series this year.
Do you really have doubts about Don?
Yeah, he's unproven in the playoffs.
Wow.
He hasn't shown that he can. I mean, he's given you 50-point performances. Don't forget what he did in the bubble, but I'm just telling you, like, it's time for Don to start writing a legacy here. It's time for him to start showing, hey, I either am that guy and I'm going to be regarded as like one of the best players in the league because of what I can do in the postseason, or I'm just a really good player that you'd love to have on your team, but I'm not like a grade A player in the league.
My opinion is Julius Randle's the key to this series. If Julius plays, and again, I know the Cavs are a heavy favorite. Heck, tonight they're 5.5 on 216.5. Like, very clearly, the Cleveland Cavaliers are the heavy favorites in this series. But if you can get Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson playing together, and if you can find that cohesive unit that ended the season for the Knicks, there's no reason the Knicks can't be in this series at the end of it. But I am not going to question Donovan Mitchell. I think he is having the best year of his career. I'm a huge Donnie believer. Anybody watching this show for any amount of time knows that. But I'm telling you, the Knicks should not be slept on. I know everybody's in on the Cavs this series. I totally understand that. I'm telling you now, the New York Knicks are going to be in this series. I'd be stunned if this was a quick and easy series. I really would be surprised by that. I mean, I just look at the matchups in this series, and my God, I don't know. I think Jalen Brunson is going to be a handful.
Yeah, like you would expect a lot out of Jalen in this series. I think Jalen has been here before and shown, when he was with the Mavericks, and don't forget, I mean, again, the last time these two guys matched up, it was Dallas and Utah. Like that was the last time in the postseason that these two matched up, and there's definitely some memories there. I don't think these two guys forgot what happened in that series or how that all kind of went down, and the fact that Donovan Mitchell didn't get a last second shot to try to keep his team in the series. Like Don hasn't forgotten any of that, and Jalen certainly hasn't forgotten any of that. And I think that Jalen Brunson is someone who shows you, again, definitively, he is a playoff performer, but he's not a grade A player. He's not a top 5 player. I do think he's a hell of a postseason player, though. So, yeah, I would, don't be surprised if you get 30 and 10 out of Jalen Brunson tonight. Like, that wouldn't be at all surprising.
Yeah, and I think the other thing you have to remember is Donnie's pretty healthy, right? Like, Donovan Mitchell's pretty healthy. But the Bucks are plus 240 to win an NBA championship. The Cavs are plus 4,600. I said plus 4,600 to win an NBA championship.
Yeah.
Like that is insanity. If you look at these numbers, how are the Bucks 240 and the Cavs are 4,600? Like, that's really surprising to me.
Well, I think it's Giannis. It's Giannis and Middleton. That's
but is Middleton healthy?
Well, yeah, he better be. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be. Obviously, he's going to be as healthy as he can be.
Boy, and by the way, I think there is money in the East to be made.
Yeah.
I think the Kings at plus 5,000. I'm telling you, that's a really good number. But you look at the Knicks at plus 10,000. The Knicks aren't going to win an NBA championship. But I think they could make people's lives difficult. I think Donnie and the Cavs, there's some equity in that. The Sixers are plus 1,000. So I'm the only one. Clearly, I'm the only one that believes in the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, I just think that the problem is that again, even yourself can't get away from the fact that James Harden just hasn't won enough in the postseason. And that's why
he's been a problem.
Yeah.
I don't disagree at all.
But I think he's playing his ass off. That's the thing, though. That's where I say, I mean, what did you say? Plus 1,000 on the Sixers. Like,
yeah,
that is good money. I mean, the idea that the Sixers, I think the Sixers could compete with the Bucks. The problem is that I don't think that Joel Embiid is fast enough to keep up with Giannis. Like, he's strong enough, he's big enough, but Giannis has a speed factor. That's the problem.
Yeah, I just look at some of the Lakers at plus 2,100. Okay, I can get down with that. I mean, you have a lot of questions there. I don't think anybody believes it, though. I think the Lakers are going to have trouble getting past Memphis, frankly. So I think that's really interesting. But, man, can you imagine betting the Timberwolves at plus 18,000? So that's $100 to win 18,000.
Yeah.
Like, that's some craziness.
Yeah.
That is some craziness right there. So
the last one I would say there is the Heat. The Heat are the only other one. I know they're an incredibly flawed team, and I agree they have no business being in any championship discussion, but somehow, some way, they always find a way to be around, and I don't know. It's probably going to take Tyler Hero being somebody he's just frankly not, but, there's good money there too, I think.
All right, let's get your comments in here on our NBA preview show. Yes, we are on a Saturday. Absolutely. We are not usually on Saturdays. Which is probably why we see Pudge NYC in here. Salute. Happy playoff day. What's up, Pudge? I think your Knicks are gonna be in this series all the way to the end.
Yeah.
By the way, I hate that it is the schedule on this series is Saturday, Tuesday, Friday.
Bro.
That's a weird schedule. So you're gonna play today, off Sunday, Monday, and then play Tuesday. And then you're gonna go back to Cleveland on Friday for Friday, Sunday, Wednesday. Like, it just drives me crazy, the long days off in these series early in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It makes it not so great. Kyle J, what's up, Kyle? He said, I can't wait to see playoff Donnie. I miss that dude in Utah. Yeah, I think if you're a Jazz fan today, could be, really this weekend, because you look at who the Lakers are running. I mean, obviously half the old Jazz team is on the Lakers. I mean, you've got Rudy in the playoffs in Minnesota, who, by the way, handled their business. Kyle Anderson and Rudy Gobert looked like fast friends last night.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely dismantling OKC.
Yeah.
But if you're a Jazz fan, there's a lot of former Jazz men in the playoffs. So
Yeah, I mean, I think if you need to pay attention to the Lakers, like you were saying. Like, I think Vando, I think, could be a guy that has special performances in the playoff on the defensive end. And that's the end of the floor that nobody, like SportsCenter's not talking about the defensive end of the floor. But if you watch these games and you pay attention to these games, defense is what ultimately, like for the Lakers specifically, defense is the beginning and the end. They can score. But if you're not playing defense, you're not going to beat a team like the Grizzlies. So Vando's going to be key.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Riley O'Brien says, oh, hell yeah, let's go. Been thinking about how all offseason it's felt inevitable Donovan to the Knicks, and now he faces them in the playoffs. I mean, that irony is not lost on anybody. I think that's a really good storyline in this thing today because, listen, I understand why Leon Rose didn't make that deal, and I think we could go round and round about Donnie to the Knicks and should Leon have done that. And but again, I don't question why Leon Rose didn't make that deal.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help but regret it now. You just can't help but regret it because if Donnie's on the Knicks, and you kind of wonder, well, who wouldn't be on the Knicks?
Yeah.
RJ Barrett's had a pretty mediocre flipping season, right?
Yeah.
So
you can say that.
In my opinion, he's been very mediocre. So I don't know if you're a Knicks fan or if you're Leon Rose, I don't know how you're not regretting that, at least on some level.
Yeah, I just think it's tough. Like, the Knicks are still a team that's one guy away. I mean, unfortunately, you're just still one guy away. I mean, you're not a championship team right now, but I think you're a 2-series playoff team for sure.
But would you rather have Donovan Mitchell instead of Emmanuel Quickley and Quentin Grimes?
Yeah.
I think you would.
All day.
I think you would. The question is, how much of that draft capital were you unwilling to give up? Because Grimes, if we remember back to the summer, Grimes was a guy they didn't want to give up, and they didn't want to give up draft capital.
Yeah, the problem is that you don't want to give up the draft capital, and the problem is once again you're in a place for the Knicks where you're not going to realize the dream. You're not going to get Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, and Julius Randle on one team for 82 games in the postseason and seeing what that's like. Because I remember talking about it on the showroom, like we said, hey, I would rather give up the draft capital to put that team together and lose than not do it and still lose. So it's a lose-lose proposition. That's the problem. So that's why I say, at least go for it. That's why I think Knick fan was so pissed about it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. By the way, real quick.
Yeah.
Can I just point out that the Celtics are in the NBA playoffs and they're wearing some third city uniform that I think is absolute trash?
Yeah.
And Jaylen Brown is currently holding his right knee.
Excellent.
With a face mask on his grill. So maybe if you guys wore your traditional black and greens and you weren't trying to sell jerseys, I absolutely hate this jersey they're wearing today.
Yeah. In Atlanta's wearing their normal.
Uniform guy is try hard guy sometimes.
Yeah.
Why would you're at home, wear your greens or wear your black and greens.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing
your greens?
Your alternate city jersey? It makes me. You're the Boston Celtics. You have one of the best uniforms in the business. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Messing it up is what you're doing.
It's amazing to me. Mike Chase says a special Saturday show. We feel special. You should. You are special. Mike Chase says, how'd the date go, Jake? How much did you spend?
Yeah, hey, I mean, do you want to talk about that now or you want to talk about it later?
We can do it later.
Okay.
Giggity says, nothing better than a surprise show on the weekend. Colton Benton says, hey, Monty. Gary says, let's go. Great Grizzlies game yesterday. Tonight, the Utah Grizzlies, by the way, for those of you that are in Salt Lake City, are playing for their playoff lives tonight. They must win tonight against Tulsa, so that'll be interesting. Cougar Tail says, Money, I had no idea you were on Saturdays. Cool, we're not. We're not on Saturdays, ever. Connor Julin says, Knicks. Riley O'Brien says, how epic would it be for the Knicks to not trade for Donovan, then eliminate him in round one? Oh, my God.
That's what I'm saying. There's so much on the line. That's why.
Can you imagine?
That's why, this series is so much more than just winning the first series in the playoffs. This is this is for Donovan Mitchell, more so as an individual, this is one of those career series where, hey, you can put that chapter of your career to bed, like, definitively if you win this series. And if you don't, everyone's going to hold it over your head for a while. So that's why I say there's a lot on the line for Donovan here.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. Let's see, Mr. Preston. Hey, I'm sitting at the airport heading to Vegas for the races tomorrow. Who should I put money on? Pay for my trip. Oh, geez. I mean, all of your equities tomorrow. I think the real interesting line is the Suns by 6.5 over the Clippers tomorrow night on TNT. I think that's an interesting line. I think the Nuggets favored by 7.5 over Minnesota. By the way, I also Memphis at home against the Lakers is -3.5.
That's a little tight, dude.
There's a lot of money to be made. You just got to find which side of the line you want to be on.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
3.5 is
3.5 is
that feels a little light.
I think I'd be on the Grizzlies side of the line there.
How comfortable are we betting against LeBron, even at this stage in his career?
Well, I think the question is how healthy is Anthony Davis, because it's going to be really interesting to see how they all match up, and like Jaren Jackson versus Anthony Davis is going to be phenomenal. Jaren Jackson could win the Defensive Player of the Year. What is Ja Morant in this game? What is Dylan Brooks in this game? Like, I think there's a lot on the line here. I think tomorrow's slate is
epic.
Dude, I don't even know. That Suns line, -6.5.
The Kevin Durant effect.
225. -6.5 at 225. So that's 112.5 each team.
Yeah, Suns are scoring 120 at home, dude.
Good luck. I mean, now Paul George is not going to play in that game, which is likely one of the major impacts on that line. But I look, I get it. Everybody's all in on Kevin Durant. I mean, if I was putting my money down, I would probably be Grizzlies 3.5. I mean, I also love Sacramento. Sacramento's 1.5, 115.
What are you going to do if the Kings lose, dude? Are you going to be okay?
It has nothing to do with being okay or not okay. The Kings are a better team right now than Golden State. And I think Golden State is going to have a very difficult time defending that pick and roll because the Sacramento Kings have multiple left-handed players, and they can pick and roll at 3 different levels, off the block, off the mid-range, and at the three-point line. So they're mid-post, low-post, and three-point line. They run pick and roll, and Golden State has no way to defend that. I mean, they I don't know. Look, I understand that they've had a lot of guys miss a lot of games. Wiggs has missed a lot of games. Curry's been hurt. Okay, I totally get that. But Klay Thompson is back. Like, he's having a career season in certain aspects. Draymond Green, though, is not that guy anymore. Wiggins hasn't played, and Curry has not been healthy. So you're going up against arguably the fastest team in the NBA with the fastest player in the NBA, in my opinion, in De'Aaron Fox. And Domantas Sabonis is a handful. And when they run pick and roll and you bring Malik Monk off the bench, you're screwed. And I understand it. People love the Golden State Warriors. Hey, I'm all down with that, dude. But I'm telling you, right now, I would be really worried if I were a Golden State fan. And you know what? Maybe Mr. Preston, it ain't my money. I'm not telling you how to spend it. I would probably be heavy on the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah. I mean, none of that's inaccurate. I think the only other thing that needs to be said about it that you have to consider is that, Steph Curry is one of the greatest shooters of all time. And I think that you can never, it's like LeBron. It's like Steph, LeBron, Kevin Durant. Yeah. You have these guys that, I agree, Steph hasn't played in a long time. Or Steph hasn't, played. He's had an injury-riddled season. He's missed time. Yes. It's been inconsistent. Like, he's been out there. He hasn't been, like, it's just kind of been all over the place. But I think that the tough part is that he is, like, if I said to you tomorrow after this game, hey, Steph Curry went off for 35, nobody would be surprised. And I think that's the hard thing to gauge. Like, is Steph going to be the guy, or is it going to take him 2 games to kind of really get going in the playoffs?
Well, you look at that game, the second to last game of the season, where Golden State won 119-97. Herculean performances. from Steph and Klay, and they got 15 from Kuminga off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll notice no Sabonis, no De'Aaron.
Yeah.
Like Sacramento didn't play their dudes. And I am just of the belief that it's going to be really difficult to beat this team when all their dudes are playing. And I think Malik Monk, who didn't also play in that game, I think he's been one of the most overlooked bench players in the NBA this season.
Yeah.
I think Sacramento is, man, they're just waiting to kick right out of the playoffs.
Hey, man, I hope for their sake they do win the series. I'm not ready to say that we should think that the Kings are going to handle Golden State. I think it's going to be hard fought.
I don't think it's a handle Golden State thing. I think that the Sacramento Kings in a long series will wear them out. And Steve Kerr is a great coach on adjustments, but I'm just telling you, if I'm in Vegas, Mr. Preston, man, I'd have to look really closely at the Sacramento Kings to win that series, really closely. Let's see. Gary says Lakers should beat the Grizzlies, but it'll take us 6 or 7 games.
I don't know about that, dude.
Oh, I think that's going to be tough. I think that's going to be winding up in the play-in. Put you where you are right now, man. That is an awfully tough road. Gary also says really rooting hard for Ja to lose badly. Gary, our resident Laker fan.
Yeah.
Delaric, good Saturday to you. I believe it's a max game series. Gary also says Boston may sweep the Hawks. Boston's better than the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, they're 20 up right now with 7 minutes to go in the first half. Like, Boston is a better team, and Boston hasn't played their best basketball in any way, shape, or form today.
Yeah.
And they won't need to win this game. They won't. So we'll see there. Matt Merle says, I got my bucked up. They didn't have Miami, so I went with Tango Mango. Mango Tango is not a bad way to go about it. Bucked up, the official energy drink of the Monty Show and our presenting sponsor on this NBA playoff preview. Get your bucked up at any of their Utah locations, up and down the Wasatch Front, from Farmington Station all the way down to St. George. I personally shop in South Jordan. Murray, Orem's got a beautiful store. Or you can get it online at walmart.com. You can get bucked up all across the valley. Even in certain Costco locations, by the way, they're now carrying bucked up. But I'm telling you guys, I had it again this morning. The Pixie, the Pixie pump, oh my God, is so good. It is just like it tastes like candy, but I mean it works remarkably well.
Facts.
There's no stim in it. So if you're in the middle of the day and you're feeling down, break out a Pixie pump, and trust me, it's going to pep you up. It's going to build your mind back up. You're not going to feel sleepy or tired. That's what Pixie Pump's about. Whether you're going to the gym or going to the office, get that Pixie Pump. I love the watermelon flavor.
Yeah.
What'd you think of watermelon?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. And I thought, I mean, you know, it's easy to use. I mean, literally, you could literally use this product while you're driving or while you're doing this.
I did today on the way to the gym.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy, and I think it's a nice change of pace from just pouring powder and water. Like, it is a nice change of pace.
Well, and I think the thing we all see with stimulants is your face melts off or everything itches, or you don't get that with the Pixie Pump because it's non-stim, so it has the exact same effect without the stimulant tingling. I love it. Use promo code Monty to get 20% off at buckedup.com or in the description below on the show. Get your free samples, 3 free samples, and a free Bucked Up Shaker Cup. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Here program. Mr. Preston says, if I win, I will donate half to the show. Wow. Okay. I like it. Lopes Van Gabe, like Button Casuals, did we get a Guac Girl update yet or nah? Now she's Guac Girl.
We did talk about that yesterday.
Well, she did pay for herself.
She did, yeah. And I followed the technique.
Which was?
I allowed her to go first in line.
Okay. Now, were you like, oh, no, you go right ahead? Or were you like, no, how you paying for yourself?
No,
Get up
I finessed it. So, we walk up to the door, Chipotle. Of course, I hold the door because I'm me. I'm a gentleman, right? Like, I'm a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens? Just walks right up there, walks down the line. Everything's cool.
Okay.
Now, here's the problem, though, real quick. She gets guac. She does. And she paid for it. But a first red flag I saw, you know how at Chipotle they skimp you on guac? It's always like a tiny little bit of guac, and you got to ask them for more. Dude, they gave her like a mountain of guac, and she complained. she was like, "Whoa, that's too much guac, bro." I was like, "You're complaining?"
Is she girlfriend material?
No.
Ooh.
No.
Right away, a no. Okay.
No, we're done with that.
All right. DeLambo says, woo, Saturday show, hello. He also says, Warriors about to do the unthinkable again. I don't hate on the Warriors. I just don't think it's possible. I do not think it is possible for this particular Warriors team to win a championship.
Yeah, I have a tough time seeing them win a championship. I think they're capable of beating the Kings. It's going to take good performances out of their guys every single night, but I think they can win that series. But I think a championship run is a lofty goal for this squad.
Gary says 6.5. Really, I take the Suns to cover that and maybe even parlay an over with that. Wow. So am I the only one that's a little hesitant? Am I the only one that's a little hesitant on that? This Suns number is what Gary's talking about.
Yeah.
This Suns number tomorrow is a little daunting in my opinion. The number right now is minus 6.5. There's good money on the Clippers at plus 240 on the money line, which means you bet 100 to win 240. I mean, you're almost 1.5 times your bread. But the number's 225.
Yeah.
6.5. That feels about right if you're betting the Suns. I don't think they're winning by 10.
No, I don't think you're winning by 10, but I think that I guess it depends. I mean, again, this is the Kevin Durant, Devin Booker thing again. Devin Booker, just like Donovan Mitchell, it's time to get it going, man. It's time to show that you're him. Like, it's time to show that you're going to perform.
As you know, Devin Booker's the sex machine in my house, right? I'm a huge book guy. I'm a little worried about the 6.5. I'm a little worried about that. I am, because I think the last 10 games that we saw Russ play with the Clippers, that was a good 10-game run.
Yeah.
The Laker game really showed you what he was capable of. He can, if you allow him to impact the game, the Clippers, allow him to impact the game on a really small scale. Don't shoot 30 shots. That's not who Russ is anymore. Give me 5 3-point attempts. Give me 10 shots from the floor, and he's going to have a huge game.
Yeah.
Because he's also going to give you 8, 9, 10 dimes. 6.5, Gary, I don't know, man. 6.5 seems like a number. Like a real number. Riley O'Brien says, will be fun to see Sacramento fans host a playoff game. Dude, they're ready. It's been since 2006.
Oh, light the beam.
Well, but I mean, that town's in on this, dude.
Yeah.
That town is in on this. And I will tell you, having worked in Sacramento and San Francisco, there is no love lost between those two cities. I mean, they're about 90 miles apart, and they hate each other. Like, it is, Sacramento would love nothing more than to end this run of Golden State's.
Yeah.
Because when this season's over for Golden State, I think Draymond Green's gone.
Yeah.
I think Draymond's gone. I think they're going to wind up trading Kuminga. I would not be surprised to see them move on from Klay. I mean, they have a lot of tough financial decisions. With this new CBA, they have a lot of tough financial decisions coming up. This new CBA is going to level the playing field quite a bit, in my opinion, and bring those high spenders back to earth. And Golden State has been a high spender.
Yes.
They have had no trouble paying the luxury tax. I mean, that's an ATM machine, but
yes,
I don't know, man. Like, it's going to be interesting. Gary says, I don't think Sac wins the series. I take Golden State on that. We'll find out. We will find out, because it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, I mean,
to watch Sacramento operate in the pick and roll in this series.
Yeah, and I think De'Aaron, special player, clutch player. I mean, obviously everyone's been watching him for how long now? I agree. He's, by everyone's measure, he's one of the fastest players in the league. By some people's opinions, he is the fastest guy in the league. And I think the thing that makes him special, in my opinion, is the shot making. I mean, the ability to be in clutch time, 2 minutes or less, and be able to just run down the floor and knock one down. I mean, he's shown that ability, and so. Yeah, I often wonder, a team in Golden State that's a 3-and-D team, essentially, if you're not shooting it well and you've got a lot of long rebounds, I wouldn't be surprised if you lost by 10 or 15 in that kind of a game, because Sacramento is going to get out, they're going to run, and they're either going to make those buckets or you're going to foul them and they're going to make the free throws. So one way or the other, you're paying the price for missing the three. But the thing is that you have two of the greatest shooters of all time on your team. So that's what I That's what holds me back from saying Sacramento's going to win the series. I think it's a long series. I don't even disagree with what you said. Sacramento could wear the Warriors out, no doubt about it. So I think it really, as usual, right, not reinventing the wheel here, for Golden State, it just comes down to shot making. If you shoot, 45% from three out of Steph, Klay, and if Jordan Poole cannot make an ass of himself this year and actually play good basketball, I think you're in almost all these games. But I think it's high risk, high reward for Golden State right now.
Yeah, and I think that Golden State's got to make significant changes to the way they played in the regular season. And I know that it's probably just, and I know you think I'm a hater, but I'm really not being a hater.
Mm-hmm.
I truly think that Sacramento is going to, the biggest issue that I see is that mid-post, think of the NBA paint, halfway down the paint, that mid-post pick and roll action that they run with Sabonis is really hard to stop. Because he does that play action where he keeps the ball, like he's left-handed, so it's a much easier pass for him. And you're playing with De'Aaron, who's also left-handed. Like it can be very difficult. And they run that pick and roll in the low block, the mid-post, and up at the three-point line. Like they're really difficult to deal with.
Yeah. And
I think Herter and Monk, and you just look at the way that they do that.
Yeah.
What has Draymond Green got left in the tank?
Dude, I mean, I don't know what he has left. Not a lot. I think that, if he's going to continue trying to be on championship teams, I don't think it'll be with Golden State. The problem is I think, reputationally speaking, I think around the league, you know who Draymond is. And so now he's at that point in his career where, you've won championships, you've done everything you want to do. Now you're just playing out your days, really. And I think this is his last best chance to win a championship. And I think, it's no secret. I mean, it needs to be said that these guys know that. These guys have those conversations and know that this is probably their last run as a group. So I would expect, Draymond to be, giving it everything he has.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I would hope so. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overconfident in the Beam team.
I don't think you're overconfident in Sacramento. We know what Sacramento is. Just like you said, pick and roll, dominant pick and roll team, really fast team, can shoot it a little bit. Like guys like Keegan Murray, they have guys. They do, 100%. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have guys. So they absolutely can shot make. But I think the thing that gives guys like Gary or myself or people who believe in the Warriors a little bit, the reason we believe in the Warriors a little bit is because they have the experience. You have two of the greatest shooters of all time on your team, like you just do. And when you can shoot the three, you're not out of any game in the league. You can be down 25 at the half and go and win the game just by shooting the three. That's the struggle when you talk about, hey, can Sacramento actually put the Warriors away? Or is this just going to be a grinder series in the first round?
I don't disagree. Jay Washington wants to know if we'll have arena football in Salt Lake City in 2024. Could be. I know the Arena League's coming back. C. Kaufman says, glad to see you guys on today. Glad to have you here, CK. Tom says, it'll work and you'll stop doing Fridays or Mondays. Well, maybe. Maybe. I doubt that. Gary says, 6.5 feels like disrespect. That's KD and the DB. Look, I love Book. He's got to be better in the playoffs. Like, Devin Booker now has no more excuses.
Yeah.
Because Chris Paul's not his running mate now. Kevin Durant is. Right? Those two guys, and they have a really solid group around Devin Booker. Like, those two guys, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, have to carry this team. Chris Paul's not a scoring threat like he used to be.
Yeah.
Can he do it in short stretches? He can. He can. But I'm telling you right now, Devin Booker, this is the time for him to step up and rise like the sun. Rise like a phoenix.
He is like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
I love my dude, but he's got to step up, man. I'm telling you. Like, and this is one of those situations where I say the same thing about James Harden and what happened. James Harden rose to the occasion. There are guys in this league right now who understand they're on the line. Like Kyrie was an absolute failure in Dallas. Now, was it his fault? No, but yeah, because it's Kyrie and he's always going to be a lightning rod, right? Kyrie probably winds up with the Lakers this summer, I would guess, in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
And he's on the clock. Like, he's got to start making plays. He's really got to take a big step forward. I look at the guys in these playoffs. I think Trae Young is playing for a paycheck right now. Because if he falters, that's a real problem for Atlanta, because Quinn Snyder, you can very clearly see, is using him very differently and featuring him.
Yeah.
And featuring John Collins, and like, they're featuring their guys. Sadiq Bey is fitting very well there, man.
Yeah.
Like, Quinn Snyder, I think, put Trae Young on notice. I think Jaylen Brown's on the clock in Boston.
Yeah.
Right? I think Julius Randle's on the clock in New York. I think there's a lot of guys, frankly, in these playoffs. Anthony Davis is on the clock. Chris Paul. This is Chris Paul's last best hope of winning a championship.
After the street
right?
closed Davis.
If Devin Booker shoots, 25% from three, he's not a big game player anymore.
Yeah.
It's great you do this stuff in the regular season, book, but you got to be big time in the postseason.
Yeah.
Because they've been to the top of the mountain. They got their ass kicked down the mountain.
Yeah.
And now it's time for Phoenix to win a championship. You have, Ishbia is going to spend a lot of money in Phoenix. And he already has. He's flexed on him. But there's a lot of guys there who have nothing to lose, right? I think Kevin Durant and Devin Booker have an awful lot to lose here. DeAndre Ayton, it doesn't matter. DeAndre doesn't matter. Like, these other cats don't. Like,
Bismack Biyombo.
Doesn't matter. Payne, it doesn't matter.
Landry Shamet.
Book, Kevin Durant, and to a lesser extent, Chris Paul, all need to win a championship right now.
Yeah.
Because if Kevin Durant never wins another championship, he was a ring chaser, right? If Chris Paul never wins a ring, he'll be the best player never to have won a ring for his entire living years, right? Like, Devin Booker is a guy that now has to prove he can win a championship.
Yes.
And I don't know that he can do that. I believe it's in there. I do. I believe that is, I believe he is capable of that. I do. I just.
Yeah. I mean, I think that book is, he has to prove it. And I think that Devin Booker has the ability. I think that, the other thing that needs to be said here, and it could be his X factor, is that Kevin Durant has that experience and can give Devin Booker that experience and can give him the understanding, like, hey, when the Clippers go on a run, because inevitably they'll go on a run, we don't have to freak out. We don't have to feel insecure.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry, because it's you and me. Like, we are better than they are. We just now got to go on our run.
Yep, totally agree. If you're watching the show right now, please give us a thumbs up. Hit the like button. It really helps the show grow. Really appreciate you guys being here. If you're just tuning in, this is the Monty Show NBA playoff preview special. Amazing one-off on a Saturday afternoon. No, we are not talking Pac-12, Big 12 today.
Stay hard.
There's a ton of that on our channel. Go ahead and find the replays.
As the Pac-12,
does not turn on the weekends. But we are talking all NBA today. Thanks to our friends at TryDayTrading.com. TryDayTrading.com, a great partner. $10 to change the rest of your life. They're offering a great 30-day membership to Monty Show viewers. All you have to do is go to TryDayTrading.com. The link is in the description below. It's a quick registration form. All you do is fill it out. It takes 20 seconds. And then what you do is you click The Monty Show. Hey, where'd you hear about Try-Day Trading? The Monty Show. And boom, you're in. You get one-on-one coaching. You get access to their entire program for 30 days. And all you have to do is make a $10 donation to charity. You give them $10. They send it to a charity. Tax write-off for you. It is education, so it's a tax write-off for you. And what they're going to do is they're going to give you all of their proprietary tools. And listen, whether you're a guy that's interested in trading currencies, and we know right now that the dollar is being questioned around the globe. Hey, Try-Day Trading knows those currencies that are going to boom, that are going to make you a bunch of money. Get into the TryDayTrading.com program, and they're going to teach you how to trade those foreign currencies. If you want to dip in and dip out of stocks, like a lot of people have, and they've made millions of dollars doing it, TryDayTrading.com. But the one thing that you know is you are going to get one-on-one professional coaching from a Try-Day Trading coach who's going to make you one of the best day traders in the world. And listen, after 30 days and $10, if it's not for you, take a walk. That's totally fine. If you can't figure it out in 30 days, it's not for you. And what did it cost you? $10. But what if you get into the TryDayTrading.com program and you become that guy that's taking your family to Disneyland and living in the house you've always wanted and driving the cars you've always wanted? What about your dreams? What about your hopes? Be that guy at trydaytrading.com. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Already in the books, Philadelphia's up 1-0 on Brooklyn. Not much of a surprise here. James Harden and Joel Embiid are the ones that carried the mail for the Philadelphia 76ers today. And I think in particular, and Jake and I sat and watched the entire game, I think in particular, James Harden was very, very good today. I think his step-back 3 game it has returned. I thought it was remarkable to watch the way that he spun Spencer Dinwiddie into a top. James Harden hit him with a crossover step back that put Dinwiddie on the floor. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah.
Spencer Dinwiddie got dropped today. Talk about ass to grass.
Yes.
He got dropped. James Harden knocked that 3 down. Harden today not only offered 23 points and was a team-leading plus 20, but he had 13 assists, 4 boards, 7 of 13 from 3, and he only had 4 turnovers in the process. He was really good. Joel Embiid, the likely MVP in the NBA this year, 11-11 from the line, 26 points, 3 dimes, 5 rebounds, and the Sixers are up 1-0 in that series over Brooklyn, 121-100. By the way, Mikal Bridges was unconscious in that game for Brooklyn. Was it a mistake to give him up in the KD trade?
No, because I think Kevin Durant is special.
Wow. Emphatically, no.
It's not even a question. With all due respect to Bridges, it's not even a conversation.
Emphatically, no.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Kevin Durant immediately takes you to championship land, and it's kind of what you were talking about, right?
You said championship land.
Yeah, he immediately brings NBA Finals expectations.
Okay.
You don't agree with that?
Kevin Durant does, but I think it's awfully tough to watch Mikal Bridges ball out the way he has, because if he's on Phoenix with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker right now, I don't know what it would. I don't think anybody else would have gotten that deal done. So don't get me wrong, but it's tough not to think about it. It is tough not to think about it. By the way, I told you on the show yesterday, Boston yesterday was a 10-point favorite. And everybody called me crazy. I told you they're going to pound Atlanta. They're up 30 at the half. The Boston Celtics are up 74-44 at the half. And it's who you thought it would be. Jason Tatum, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 3 of 5 from 3. Jaylen Brown's got 13. I mean, they're dominating. Robert Williams, the third, 10 points, 2 assists, a steal, a block, 5 of 5 from the floor. Boston's kicking the crap out of Atlanta.
Yes, as they should. I mean, I think that, I love the way Quinn Snyder's using guys like John Collins now. I love the way that DeJounte Murray's playing for them, but they're just not on the same level as Boston. They're just not.
Listen, man, I'm telling you right now, the Atlanta Hawks hanging on to John Collins, in particular hiring Quinn Snyder, may turn out to be one of the steals of the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Because it seems like John Collins has really come out of a shell now. And again, Trae Young, and I know they're losing by 30. Trae Young in this game where's Trae Young? 12 points. Now he's got 4 turnovers in the half. 2 steals, 4 assists, a rebound, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. He's only 1 of 5 from 3. But you can see he's playing more we instead of me.
Yeah.
I feel like this Quinn Snyder may be able to.
He's made progress.
He may be able to put a water hose on the dumpster fire in Atlanta. Like he may be able to do that. He may be able to do that. And I know that's a lot of people laugh at that, you guys, but I'm telling you right now, Quinn Snyder might be the ideal guy.
Yeah.
The ideal guy to do that. I mean, he may well be, because I think John Collins, I told that the Utah Jazz have had a great affection for John Collins the last 2 years and have not been able to get that done. And especially in the last 2 windows, last summer and at this trade deadline, they were close to making a deal and they didn't. And I feel like Atlanta might be in that situation where they benefited by the trade they did not make. Because those are always the ones that define you as an organization, as a GM.
Yeah.
You look at this Zion situation. What are they going to do with him this summer? John Collins isn't that far off in that kind of discussion. Now, Zion's a high-level player, and he's a bust. I totally get that. The impact that John Collins can have for Atlanta with Quinn Snyder as his bench boss, I think really could be significant.
Yeah, and I think John Collins has good value. I mean, he's not some game-changing player, but I think he can eat some minutes for you and be productive. And I think that's, unfortunately for Zion, I just think that Zion hasn't shown the ability to stay healthy, and I think that's the tough part.
And maybe it's fortunately for New Orleans, because I think this is a huge, huge moment in time. I truly do. I mean, I look at this situation like, look at the Dallas Mavericks. Did you guys hear about this with the Dallas Mavericks? The Dallas Mavericks were fined $750,000. And I don't care who you are. I don't care how many gazillions of dollars you have. If the NBA fines you $750,000, that's not chump change. That's not like that. Look, I get it. That's not Shark Tank money for Mark Cuban, and that's probably walking around money at this point for that dude. But that's a lot of bread for an NBA franchise to get fined for sitting Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah, and I still feel like it's not even close to what the penalty should be. I mean, I think that the top 10 draft picks should be taken away from them. I think that's the proper punishment. That
should have been the penalty.
Yeah, because I mean that's why you sat Luka, because you wanted to preserve your draft status.
If you guys don't know, they had a top 10 protected draft pick in the balance. If they'd have made the play-in game, they likely would have lost that they would have lost that top 10 protection. They missed it. They're on the outside looking in. Now they're likely to get a top 10 pick here. I mean, it was shady as hell.
Yeah.
But does it matter if you just got slapped on the wrist? It really doesn't.
No.
And I think this is also why you have to attach games played to season accolades.
Agreed.
And if in one of the interesting questions, it might have been Tony Jones, who's covering the Milwaukee Bucks, by the way, now. Didn't you say?
No,
the Denver Nuggets for the Atlantic in the playoffs, because the Jazz are done. Somebody, it might have been Tony, it might not have been, was talking about that the NBA was looking at, well, what if none of the players that are in MVP consideration, what if none of them meet the minimum threshold? And I say to hell with it. Then none of them can win. Like if Jimmy, Johnson, Fitzpatrick wins the MVP because Joel Embiid only played 10 games, that's not his fault or my fault. Yeah. That's Joel's fault. You knew the rule. You knew the rules of the game when you started playing.
I think being an MVP means you play a lot. You can't be an MVP if you play 0.1% of your team's games. That doesn't work.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Goathead Prime says, "Hey, Jake and Monty, urgent, stop the presses. I have a declaration for my brother's cousin's sister's bunny. Oregon's mascot has transitioned to horny at TCU." Wow, perfect.
Wow, that was, man, just... I mean, dude, I don't know. How do we not talk about that at length? I mean, that's just totally incredible, dude.
James McKenzie, will there be any colon talk today? There will not.
No, colon talk's over with, bro.
Yeah, hopefully the colon talk is all over with. Cougar Tail says, "Hey, Jake and Monty, you tweeted from the same account." Cougar Tail,
what are you doing, bro?
Come on, man. You can't, if you're using TweetDeck, you got to learn how not to do that. Or you commented from the same account.
Yeah.
Trucks.Gumby, what? A weekend Monty Showgrum? Yes, sir. Indeed. Grum, exactly. Showgrum.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Jacob DeLambo says, Tatum out for blood for not getting MVP.
Dude.
Did he deserve it?
I don't know that he deserved it. He deserved it. I think Joel's got an incredibly strong case this year. But,
why are people so pissed?
Tatum's another guy.
But why are people so pissed that it's Joel, it's Dad Bod God, and Giannis? Why are people so pissed about that? Is that not accurate? I mean, I think Joel Embiid, I don't have any doubt he's the MVP of the NBA. You're going to slander him here, and I'm fine with that. You want to rip Joe?
I've never ripped Joe. I've ripped Harden.
You've just said but who should be the MVP?
I have agreed that I think Embiid should be the MVP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not
Maybe
a Jokic guy. Yeah.
Maybe I got that wrong.
I mean, Jokic obviously is a hell of a player, but I just think that Embiid has been next level this year.
McKinley Cutler, the Cookie King of Utah. Do you think the Hawks will tear it down during the offseason? If so, who do you think they're most likely to move? I don't think they'll tear it down. But I do think that they will move Clint Capella this summer. I mean, at some point, you got to stop paying those guys that bread. I mean, if you're not learning from the Minnesota situation, big bigs in this league just aren't. I mean, that's not how you win in this league.
Yeah.
I mean, 7-footers, bless them all. That's not how you win in this league.
No, it's not.
You win in this league by having wing players and having 5 guys on the floor who can get up and down, shoot the 3, and rebound.
The rack attack!
Because I'm telling you, I know I'm the only one, but I'll keep saying it. Rebounding is going to win you a championship soon. I mean, if you out-rebound the other team, in today's NBA, it is all about how many possessions did you have and what did you do with them.
Yeah.
How efficient on offense were you? This is a Golden State problem.
Yes.
Golden State does not rebound as well as they used to. And you look at the Jazz, not a good rebounding team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up and down the board. You look at the way that the Lakers have rebuilt themselves. How are they winning? Rebounding and transition.
Yep.
And they got guys knocking down a lot more threes. Sacramento, they got bigger and they got better. And, well, they drafted Keegan Murray and went and got Sabonis, but they're rebounding. And De'Aaron Fox has taken a huge step forward. Like, you have got to rebound. You've got to rebound.
Yeah.
And I think if you can out-possession your team, and I know that you look at some of these numbers, and we've been talking about it, you look at some of these games that are in the 230s, right? I mean, that's today's NBA.
Yes. Up and down fast.
You've got to have more opportunities to shoot threes and free throws. How do you do that? Give Kevin Durant an extra possession. Well, if he didn't have his big ass toe on the line a couple of years ago.
Seriously.
But maybe if they had gotten another rebound, or maybe if they had, run another pick and roll. Oh, that's right. James Harden was hurt constantly. Right? Like, he was out there by himself, right? So you have to build a team that can be on the floor, that can rebound, and that can run. And that's who's going to win championships.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt Milwaukee does that a lot better than most people do.
Yep.
That team rebounds and outlets like ain't nobody's business.
Well, that's one of Giannis's most valuable pieces. I mean, if he's not rebounding, he's the guy they outlet to, and he gets up and down as best as good as anyone. I mean, that's what's tough about Giannis, and I think that's kind of the Golden State conundrum. You're right. Like, this is why I say Golden State is in a position where they have to shoot well or they're going to lose. They don't really have another way to win.
Yeah, I totally agree. Cougar Tail, Monty and Jake, how do we advertise on the show? You DM Jake on Twitter or Instagram at SLC Jake.
Yeah.
SLC Jake. DM him on Twitter or Instagram or wherever you choose, and he'll get in touch with you. Tell him what you want. You guys can have a conversation. Talking NBA on our NBA playoff preview presented by our good friends at Bucked Up Energy this afternoon. I think the game of the day it's close between the Warriors and the Kings at 5 on TNT or the Knicks and the Cavs at 4 on ESPN. Like, I think those...
The Knicks and Cavs just has heat to it, dude. It just has that it factor about it that I think will put it over the top. And I think seeing Donnie in the, at Madison Square Garden in the playoffs, it's just special. It's just special. And I think that for me is the one, like the Kings Golden State series, that's going to be a great series.
By the way, 6:30 on ABC. I said 5 on TNT. It's 6:30 on ABC.
I have no doubt that that's going to be a great series. Golden State and Sacramento, great series. But for me, dude, Donovan and Jalen Brunson going back and forth, and I think, dude, I'm telling you, this whole concept of Julius Randle playing or not playing, and when, in my opinion, when he does play, because I personally believe he will play.
Oh, I think he's playing tonight. There's no doubt.
Like, how effective is he going to be? I mean, I would guess he's going to be pretty ready to go, because that's what a lot of guys do now. If they have if you have an injury with 15 games left in the regular season, you're saying, okay, I'm going to keep my shot nice and crispy. I'm going to get healthy, and then we'll get on with it.
Dude, that line moved again. The Knicks line moved. It was 6. Now it was 5.5. Now it is 5 points. By the way, that's all the way down to 5. The Cavs are now 5-point favorites. I'm telling you, man, if Julius plays, all bets are off in this series.
Mm-hmm.
If he plays, all bets are off, because And Woj said that he is moving. Woj bomb.
Woj
said that Julius is moving towards playing. And you look at some of the numbers in these as an away underdog, they're 17-11-1.
I'm for real.
As an underdog period, 23-16-2.
I'm for real.
I mean, it's going to be a very close game.
Yeah.
This is going to be a very close game. And I love.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to take the Knicks. Who's going to lose at home first?
The Knicks.
I guess that's so. You think the Cavs are going 2-0 at home?
Yeah,
Ooh.
I do.
I don't know. I am. Maybe I'm too much into the way that Julius and Jalen Brunson play together. I think it's fantastic. I think it is fantastic. I think the Knicks have a real good, because I think these are going to be 1 or 2 possession games.
Uh-huh.
And the Knicks shoot free throws. I mean, their guys shoot free throws pretty well. I think Jalen Brunson, what is Julius at? Like 70-something%. 75%. That's a weakness for him. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm probably reading too much into it, but I think this is a possession or 2 at most. And I think in this entire series, every game will be a possession or 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on Darius Garland. I think, it depends on the secondary players. Like, again, RJ Barrett, like you're gonna have to give him more than 10 points a night, dude. Like you're gonna have to perform.
RJ Barrett, I don't know, and I hate to say I told you so. Well, actually, I don't. I love saying it. You knew he was going to have a down season.
Yeah,
I mean, you had to know. And the guy that I also think is really interesting is Obi Toppin. Gave them some big minutes in Randle's absence. And you look at the way that Josh Hart trade helped them. Mitchell Robinson's been interesting in that I think he's been less effective than they had hoped.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, he's been out a lot, and I think that's his problem.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see, man.
But if he's good, it's tough to stop for sure.
I think this is going to be a remarkable run by the Knicks and the Cavs. And for my money, I think Jalen Brunson is a guy that won't be, but Jalen Brunson should be talked about as an MVP as well, because this has been a turnaround season. Now, is he going to be an MVP? He shouldn't be the MVP. He should be in the conversation, because what he did in New York under a very bright spotlight, I think speaks volumes. And Julius goes out, and I think he balled his ass off. Yeah. And I think you have a guy, and again, I'm not trying to besmirch RJ Barrett, but this is a guy that was off a tick this season. He gives you 19.5, 5 rebounds. RJ Barrett's going to have some moments in this series if they're going to win it. I'm super excited.
Yeah, you should
DeLambo says Donnie dropping 70 in the Garden. Well, somebody's gonna. My question is, but seriously, and look, there's no bigger Donnie fan than me, right? Like,
stay hard.
I'm a huge Donovan Mitchell guy.
Yeah.
And I think he's capable of that. But my question again is, let's not forget that there's another team that plays the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it's the Knicks. And I think when you look at everything they've been through this year, but who's the guy? Julius Randle's not the guy you want carrying you. I think if somebody's going to have a 50-point game for them, it's going to be Brunson.
Yeah.
And I think this needs to be Donnie versus Murray in the bubble. This needs to be Donnie and Brunson going head-to-head.
Yeah,
that's what this series needs to be.
Yeah, I absolutely think it will be, and I think Brunson's good for a 50-pointer in this series, 100%. And I think that his ability in the paint is what's really going to define this series, because if they allow him to do the little dribble, keep the guy on the hip, play the little pick and roll, in the paint, like kind of just mercurial wandering around with the ball, you're going to be in trouble, because those are all high percentage looks. You cannot allow him to do that.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm absolutely stoked. James McKnight says the I-80 series. Indeed. You look at tomorrow's loaded. These next 2 series, Knicks, Cavs, and Kings and Warriors, the heat in that Kings-Warriors series is legit. Like, I mean, they seriously dislike each other.
Uh-huh.
They seriously dislike each other. Sergio Mendoza if LeVert gets significant minutes in the playoffs, can he be trusted in the playoffs? Well, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, Karis LeVert is a guy that gave you, what did he average? He averaged, he's averaging 30 minutes a game. He's shooting 39% from three. Why wouldn't you trust him?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Karis LeVert's been one of the better stories, a comeback story.
For sure.
Another guy, that was in demand around the league. So, I mean, you just look at all the guys that carried the mail for them. Did they ever replace Kevin Love?
That's tough. No, I don't think so. I mean, watching Kevin Love, what was that yesterday? In
Miami.
In Miami in the play-in against Chicago. Kevin Love had a nice little game, and I think that no, you haven't replaced him. But again, this is why I say a guy like Evan Mobley's got to get it going. Someone like Jared Allen. Is he available?
Did Evan Mobley have a step back year?
Probably a little bit, yeah. Guys like him are going to take a step back when you add Donovan Mitchell, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question. Yeah, Jared Allen's available. I think it's a really interesting question. I mean, Evan Mobley played 79 games, and I think Don being there had a profound impact on everybody on that roster, as you would expect.
Yes.
But when I look at Evan Mobley, there are a lot of times watching him where you're always just kind of waiting. You're always wondering, okay, is this,
Yeah, is this guy going to take off, or is he just going to chill?
And you feel like he certainly took a step back from three, but you didn't need him to shoot as many threes, even though he did.
Yeah.
I don't know. Evan Mobley's a guy I'm waiting for him to have a big breakout.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing is that you have to find that balance. Again, this is only year one of Donnie in Cleveland, and I think that obviously they're off to a hell of a start. I mean, and again, I know it's easy to take it for granted, but the idea that you're getting into the postseason in year one after this trade is exactly what you wanted. Now you got to see how far you're going to go and what changes you have to make. That's the reality.
Tanner Plummer, the Super Soaker, says, my gut tells me that Don is going to take the Cavs to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, I think that's going to be awfully difficult. If you look at the route, I mean, we shouldn't even get into it. But I mean, there's so long to go there.
Yeah.
But I just think that's going to be really difficult. I think if you look at the way that teams are playing, it is going to be incredibly difficult. They would have to play as the 4 or 5. They'd have to play the Bucks Heat winner.
So the Bucks.
So you're going to play the Bucks, right?
Good luck.
And then you're going to have to go on and probably play the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think that's asking a lot. I mean, because you have the Bucks are going to beat the Heat.
Yeah.
Right? We all agree with that.
Yeah.
I think Bucks Cavs in the second round, but I think somebody said it. I think Gary said it that this is, what do you say? Yeah, Gary said Knicks and Cavs go all 7 games down to the wire. Totally agree with that. But you look at the bracket. It'd be Bucks Heat. I think Bucks will probably take that in 5. I think Cavs go 7 games. I think you're going to have to be on the road in that series, obviously. I just think that's asking a lot.
Yeah.
I think the Bucks probably go back to the finals, but if you look at it, we're staring down the barrel at 76ers Celtics in round number 2.
It's what you need. I mean, again, and that's why I say, dude, they should, the 76ers should dismantle the Nets easily. I mean, and I think they need to. I think they need to end that series in 5.
Got to be short.
Yeah, you got to be out of that series in 5. And you got to be well rested heading into into Boston.
You realize, by the way, real quick, in the West, it's Nuggets and Suns in the second round. Nuggets versus Suns Clippers winner in the second round.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Kings, Warriors, Grizzlies, Lakers. I think the bottom half, the 3-6, 2-7 matchup has a much easier road than the 1-8, 4-5. That's just absolutely putting your nuts in like a Vitamix. When you have to consider, I said put your nuts in a Vitamix. Anyway, Suns, Clippers, Nuggets, Timberwolves. Because I actually think the Timberwolves are a little more scrappy.
I was going to say, do the Timberwolves have no chance? Are we just you're out? You're out.
But Rudy's going to be a problem in that series. He is, in my opinion, There again, I think we saw that you're not going to play the Nuggets the way you played OKC.
No.
And I think that Rudy's not going to get a lot of time in the Nuggets series because it just doesn't make sense to play him heavy minutes against Denver.
No, and I think, the problem is that Jokic has dominated him almost every time they've played.
But they a lot of times they pick and roll Jokic out of the big matchup, and then you wind up on a guard or, like Aaron Gordon or, Porter Jr. Like there's not a good matchup for Rudy in that series. So I think McDaniels is going to be a huge loss for Minnesota in that series.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we're looking at Suns Nuggets going in round 2, and I think that is absolutely
fire.
An unbelievable series.
Yeah, fire.
Unbelievable series. I mean,
yeah.
Tanner says Donnie will outplay Brunson. That's my guess. I don't think so. I think Brunson and Donnie are going to go head-to-head. Two little dudes. We have exclusive video of Jalen Brunson preparing for this series. Let me see. Here it is. Jalen Brunson.
Pick it up. Walk back. There.
You can see here's Jalen Brunson preparing for the series in the weight room.
Up.
Nothing. Okay.
Come on.
There you go. There's the.
Sorry.
Who
I'm getting people are DMing me asking if we are willing to add our video stream to Spotify. I'm getting requests for that now.
Okay. I mean, that's cool. You just missed Jalen Brunson working out.
I know, he was working out.
All right, here. Okay, so then again,
Pick it up.
here's Donovan Mitchell working out in preparation for the series. Like,
Yeah.
look at all the weightlifting that's going on in the
again,
NBA.
It's okay. You don't have to say thank you for this source video that I got for you guys. Like, dude, I mean, look at this guy. Look at, again, as I always say, the ass to grass technique is strong with this one. Look at the face, dude.
Look at Donovan Mitchell's face right there.
Just getting after it. Mr. I'm 6'1", not 6'5", getting after it.
So let's see. Kyler Murray, Buda Baker, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell. No, that's not Baker Mayfield. That's not.
Y'all feel me?
Cougar Tail says Jalen Brunson can kick it.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Colton Pittons says Rudy will get played off the floor. I don't disagree with that at all. I think he's going to have a very tough time in that one. Hey, look, Mapes is in the room. Mike Maples, good to see you. That's awesome. They found Kyler Murray's trainer. Yeah,
I know, right? I mean, it's incredible.
Kyler Murray's trainer is making that bread, dog.
Yeah, dude.
Like he is, Gotta love that. Let's see. Jacob DeLambo says Bucks Boston for sure. You think it's for sure?
For sure,
for
dude.
sure, bruh.
Bro.
If you guys look at this Eastern bracket,
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to place any Nuggets in the Eastern?
Oh, shit.
If you look at the Eastern Conference, dude, it seriously, I get pressure in my groin just looking at this. Like, look at that bracket, you guys. Like, it is really difficult to pinpoint. God, you stupid banners, get off my screen or my lawn. I think Bucks are going to beat the Heat.
I'm going to get medieval on your ass.
I think the Cavs and Knicks, I think it's a toss-up series. I could be wrong about that. But let's go Cavs-Bucks. Okay, can we project that the Bucks win that series? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I think Sixers and Celtics, no doubt about it. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Although Atlanta's now cut the lead to 27 points.
Yeah, Atlanta's gone on a 15-0 run here in the last 3 minutes, and they're still down 27.
But there's no doubt Celtics and Sixers. If we play that game, Jake, I'm all in on Boston.
You gotta go Team Celtics,
bro.
dude.
I'm all in on Boston.
Don't make a fool of yourself here, dude. Don't try and sell me on 76ers beating Boston, dude.
I was slurping Jaylen Brown, and he let me put on the face mask while I was slurping him. I mean, dude, you have no idea what that was like. Is it okay? Let's look at the Western bracket. Nuggets, Timberwolves. I'm taking the Nuggets.
The Nuggets?
Suns, Nuggies.
Dude, you got to go Suns. You have to.
Kings, Warriors. I'm taking the Kings. Grizzlies, Lakers. I'm taking
Warriors, Grizzlies.
the Lakers. So Kings and Lakers.
Taking the Lakers.
I am taking the Lakers.
And you have balls, dude.
Well, there's so many guys.
Right.
There are so many guys that are make or break. I was 0 for 2 last night.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't say a
But
thing.
okay, but the Bulls, dude. Come on with the Bulls,
Dude.
bro. Dude.
And then the asshole in Chicago today is like, oh, well, this team deserves another opportunity to stay together and show us what they can do. And we want to re-sign, Nikola Vucevic, the Chicago Bulls general manager today. I think he knew I was listening. It's like, oh, yeah, we're going to re-sign Nikola Vucevic.
Ain't no reset.
Yeah, apparently there is. Whatever. It's so
Brutal,
frustrating.
bro.
Tanner Plummer, it would be cool to see the Sixers win it all. Okay, we can move on.
On to the next.
Sergio. After the Phillies lost the World Series and the Eagles lost the Super Bowl, the Philly sports fan base could use a pick-me-up.
Too bad.
Nobody likes the Philly fan base. Sergio Mendoza, Alexander Walker, and Taurean Prince are no slouch on defense. Hey, man, I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been really good for Minnesota.
Fucking A.
I mean, he has been, and he's making that corner three
Yeah.
at a rate that I think we had no idea that he could shoot it at.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
still
pretty
playing
phenomenal.
defense. He's still doing his thing.
It's pretty phenomenal the way that he, NAW, defended, in that OKC series, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I thought it was really, I don't know, man. I thought it was very interesting the way that Minnesota used him.
Yeah.
Lee Jensen says, live on a Saturday, crazy. Yeah, surprise. Surprise. He says, Brooklyn series will go at least 6 games. Ooh.
No, I disagree.
I don't know. The Sixers dismantled them today. Like, Cougar Tail, do you think Rudy's problem is Rudy? Yes, I do. I think he's in his own way. Tanner Plummer, hope Rudy and the Wolves get their A's handed to them. When Rudy loses, America wins. Wow. Okay. Tanner says, Mont, you're taking the Lakers. Why? I like abuse.
Me?
I don't trust the Grizzlies. I don't trust they tend to turn the ball over in terrible moments.
Yeah.
And Dylan Brooks, he's that Pat Bev guy who gets in trouble at the wrong time. And I don't know.
But no one's going to disrespect me.
I think the Lakers, and it's just my opinion, the Lakers have a lot more to give than we've seen. Because we have not seen LeBron, AD, and D'Angelo on the floor a lot together at all.
Yeah.
We just haven't seen that a lot. And I think there's a real chance for them to go.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'm alone in this. Ja Morant's very difficult to root for.
Yeah, he is.
After what we saw, Ja Morant it's very difficult to root for him.
And it's sad because I feel like he was easy to root for at one point.
Well, he was, because he was a good story.
Before he was brandishing weapons and beating up kids on a street basketball court, all that.
He was a good story, but it's one of those things where I just don't. I don't know, man. I think it is. Maybe it's just me. I just don't have any affinity for the way that he lives his life. I just don't. I don't care.
Yeah.
And he's become this guy who, he's Harvey Dent. He went from hero to heel in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it happened
Dave's in
very quick,
opposition.
Yeah.
Riley O'Brien, Monty, can you ask Jake if he thinks we need a reset, please? Hey, Jake, do we need a reset?
Ain't no reset.
Okay. Maple says, come on, Tanner G, soaking Philly fans, always good for a laugh. Exactly. That's true. No one likes Philly sports fan base, including me.
Ain't no reset.
1984 says, I like the live weekend show. Well, and we appreciate when you hit the like button. Don't get used to it because we don't do a lot of weekends, especially in the summer.
Yeah.
Gary says, because Monty hates Ja like everyone else. That's why we pick LA. Truth.
Dave's in opposition.
And I just think that I think the Lakers have a lot going right. For once in their ever-loving lives,
Yeah.
they have a lot going right.
They're peaking at the right time.
I would totally agree with that. They are peaking at the right time, and it'll be interesting to see exactly how all that plays out. But it is remarkable to me. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, but it's remarkable to me how quickly Ja's turned into a villain. I don't even know how you explain it.
Oh, I know how you explain it. You do dumb stuff off the floor.
Well, but I mean, at least if you're Kyrie, America's favorite anti-Semite, we have a legitimate reason to dislike you.
Yeah, but he wasn't killing people. He wasn't threatening to kill people. He wasn't like, and I'm not saying that being, saying the things that Kyrie said and having those beliefs is less than what Ja did, but from a PR standpoint, it's less in that sense. Like it very much is a behind the scenes, deal with it privately. This is an internal matter type thing. And then Kyrie wanted to have a fight with Nick Friedel, and things kind of got out of hand. That's what that was. But the problem is Ja wanted to get guns and weapons and little kids involved and wanted to go to a finish line and intimidate people. Like Ja's doing it in public. Ja is doing it out in the open world. Whereas Kyrie just says dumbass stuff in press availability, and that gets him in trouble.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, and I know we talked about this on the show, but again, I just am in amazement that you thought you could allegedly bring a gun into a strip club and that was going to work out.
Like,
how?
He wouldn't be Ja Morant. Like, I don't hold it against Ja that he was in a strip club at 2 a.m. That's the life in the NBA, dude. That's what all these guys do. Like, all the Joe Schmo or youngins who think they can just get by not training and they're good enough and they don't need to do any of that, they all go to the club. That's what they do. But the difference is 99.9% of everybody doesn't roll in with a handgun in the club and brandish it, and like you don't do that. And that's what I don't understand about Ja. I just don't get it, dude.
Yeah, totally agree. By the way, the Atlanta Hawks, a Quinn Snyder coach team, is making a furious comeback in Boston. The 2-7 matchup in the East, 93-69 now. You're down 24 points. But it was like a lot more.
Yeah.
And it feels like Atlanta's shooting the ball better. Bogdanovich is finally working. I love the way Sadiq Bey is playing for them.
Yeah.
And Trae Young is operating. I would not want to have to defend Trae Young because the shot looks good and he is absolutely operating.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how long Boston lets this go on. But I actually think Atlanta is – this is why I said, like, you never did this under Nate McMillan. This team would have rolled over and lost this game by 50. And I think with Quinn Snyder on the bench now, I think Atlanta is a very different team.
Yeah.
At this point. And I think Atlanta is showing the character that I think most of us felt like was inside of them. Because you feel like in watching this game now, it's 93-69, 123 to go in the third. Boston up on Atlanta. And it's that Atlanta is starting to shoot the ball better. And they did not shoot well in the first half. And Trae Young is absolutely terrorizing Boston right now. Like jump shooting, step backs, Hesse's in the lane.
He's picking on whoever Buddy is for Boston here. Buddy, the 10th off the bench guy.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
The shot looks better, but he's doing against
But
scrubs.
they're actually running legitimate offensive sets to get Trae Young into space inside the paint. And they're playing defense. And that's what Atlanta had not done. And you can see they are looking for Trae Young. And if he doesn't have a look, they're moving the basketball. So I really think that Atlanta is going to give Boston a fight. Now, they're down 20, right? Like now it's 93-73.
You've done all this and you're still down 20.
And the quarter's coming to an end here with 40 seconds to go, which is, here's one other thing I don't understand. You're up 20, you need the clock to run, and you won't pick the ball up. It's rolling up the court, which the clock won't start running until you pick the ball up. Why is that? I've never understood that about NBA teams. Like, what is the point of that?
I get it if you're Atlanta, but Jaylen Brown was just letting the thing roll.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how all this plays out.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really good point. DW2CB, Quinn is experiencing boosting Bogdanovich's biatches.
Okay.
I like the way you said that.
Okay.
Boston, Atlanta, 93-69. Hawks say, so you say there's a chance. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Bojan.
Exactly right. Lee Jensen says, I think John needs a reset. Okay. Tanner says Tanner Plummer says John Morant is Harvey Dent, so he's the hero we need.
Ain't no reset.
I mean, he was the hero we need, but now he's turned into the villain. You know. Tanner Plummer says, wait, I thought Kanye was America's favorite anti-Semite. Not anymore. No.
Ain't no reset.
No. Riley O'Brien, I want John Morant to fight Rudy Gobert, have it officiated by Kyle Anderson. Loser has to drop the tough guy act. Winner has to stop acting like a tough guy. I'm here for that.
Yeah, dude. I like your ideas, Riley.
You know. DeLambo says, how long until Young demand Quinn be fired? Well, he's gotten 2 other coaches fired, right? That was Hauser that Trae Young was messing with in Boston.
Yeah.
So, you know.
You're a douche.
Yeah. We'll see, because now he's got White on him
Who's
for
been
Boston.
phenomenal for Boston.
He has. He's
dude.
been a really nice pickup for them.
Yeah.
Atlanta's not quality enough yet, and we'll go to the 4th with a 21-point Boston lead at the Garden, 94-73. So by all intent and purposes, it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
done
over
lost
in Boston.
game 1, Atlanta.
But you can see the impact, right? Do you agree with that? You can see
Yeah.
the impact that Quinn Snyder's had?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Quinn has used Trae Young and, he's used Trae Young and these guys, definitely differently than Nate McMillan did. And I think that, Quinn is not scared to tell you how it is and tell you what you need to do. And I think he's clearly got Trae Young motivated, and you love to see it. And I think, it's funny what Trae Young can do against a scrub off the bench, and then Derek White comes in, and all of a sudden you're not such a tough guy. That's what I think is the problem with Trae Young. He's not good enough yet.
Goat on Twitter says, is Steph and Klay the best shooting duo of all time? I mean, that's such a basic question. I mean,
And it's such a biased question. Like it's
it is. I'm not even arguing. I don't think it's close. I don't think there's close to a second. I truly do not believe there's. I mean, like,
they're the best in history together.
Is there even I don't think there's even a question. Hey, Look at that. Aaron Wilson back in the Monty Show program, gifting a membership, which was picked up by Sam J. Sam J, welcome to the membership. Patrick Boren, back on the membership, gifted by Aaron Wilson. Thank you. Appreciate that. Aaron Wilson says, enjoy your Aaron Wilson scholarship to the University of Monty fandom.
There you go.
Appreciate you, Aaron Wilson, always gifting memberships. See, I went back and I'm trying to pay more attention to it now because it really helps the show. So we appreciate that. I think I want to get on to this Sacramento series because in a minute here, we really got to get into Donnie versus the Knicks because that game's about 30 minutes away. By the way, Atlanta won a review, and now it is 94-75. So instead of being down 20, they're down 19. So great review, Quinn.
Great job burning that review there, Slick.
I mean, hey, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I am all about it, yo. I think. Why do you think Golden State wins that series?
Because I just think that they're veteran. They are going to have a plan. I think that they're like this is their like 5th rodeo together. Like they're not they have that experience. And I think, I really think that Steve Kerr is going to come out with a game plan that's unique. I don't know what that game plan is going to be, but you're going to need something that's going to throw Sacramento off balance a little bit. You're going to need something that kind of, comes out and says, hey, we can beat you. We are legit. We are still Steph and Klay, and Jordan Poole is a quality contributor. Like we still have guys. And so to me, like, yeah, is their pick and roll defense great? Not really. No. But at the same time, it doesn't matter if they're going to come out and they're going to shoot, 43s a game and be at 40%. Like you're not beating the Warriors if they're going to shoot that well. You're just not.
By the way, that game is now a pick'em. That game has moved again to a pick'em. Like I know, listen, and I know that it was 1.5 for Sacto.
Mm-hmm.
That game is now a pick'em.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this plays out.
Yeah, I think it's bad business to bet against Steph, but I don't disagree with your logic on it. I think that the Kings are dangerous for sure.
And I think De'Aaron Fox, the last 3 weeks of the season, was playing his best ball. But I want to see Steph Curry come back and be playoff Steph from last year. Mm-hmm. And if he's that dude, I agree with you. That's awfully difficult to beat. I think Klay Thompson had a resurgent season. But I don't know what you do, because in Sacramento now it's not a one pony town anymore, right? You've got to deal with multiple guys. Keegan Murray, again, Domantas Sabonis. You've got to deal with Malik Monk. You got to deal with De'Aaron Fox. You got to deal with,
right?
They're deep now. They're 5 guys legit who can play, and I just feel like I think this is arguably the series of the first round from an entertainment perspective. I think this Kings-Warriors series, I'm going to take the Kings to win the series. I know you don't want to hear it, and I know I'm just like some perverse SOB, and I should be institutionalized. And I totally understand.
Okay, that's enough. Stop, please.
Totally understand it. I'm telling you right now that the Sacramento Kings are going to win this series.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And I could be wrong. They have the highest offensive rating in the history of the NBA on a team at Golden State that at times has struggled defensively. Mm-hmm. And they're great. They're phenomenal in the clutch. And what is, the bigger question for me, what is Andrew Wiggins given this series?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I don't know. And I think anyone who tells you that they do know is crazy. I don't think that's an X factor for sure. Is Wiggs still that same guy? Can he be, 80% of what he was last year? Like, what is Andrew Wiggins? I don't think we know. And that's why I say, I think it's dangerous to bet against a Steph Curry who's in a situation where he knows that Wiggs is probably not 100%. He knows that Draymond's not the same guy. And what does any of that mean? It just means that he's got to do more. And he's regularly shown up and done more. Last year, hey, Boston's got it. Oh, no, they don't.
Oh, my God. Marcus Smart with about the sexiest alley-oop I've ever seen. Missed a teardrop, got his own rebound, and threw it up to Robert Williams.
Oh, my God, just like that.
Dude, it may have happened. Yes, it moved.
I'm so bricked up right now.
That was a phenomenal play. Boston 96, Atlanta 75. And more second chance opportunities for Boston.
Yeah.
Look, I love the tenacity of Atlanta, but this series is over. There's no way that Atlanta can hang if they're going to play that way. But we'll see a series of adjustments. Reset. Anyway, I'm telling you, I don't see my biggest question is, can the Golden State Warriors handle the multiple faceted pick and roll that Sacramento is going to run in the half court?
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're going to have to figure out a way to, obviously.
Yeah.
Probably not. Honestly, probably not effectively. But again, the question's going to be, okay, if Sacramento's going to run pick and roll to death and they're going to score, let's call it 112, 115 points a game on the Warriors.
Yep.
I mean, are we really saying that the Warriors can't put up 115 on this team? I mean, the Warriors can do that. And I think the question really is going to be, who's going to be the one, because it's going to be in Steph's hands, but who's going to be the one that really gets them into their offense? Because we know why the Warriors are so tough to deal with. They're constantly running around. They're constantly...
At home, though. Because let's not forget, this is one of the worst road teams in the NBA. Mm-hmm. The Golden State Warriors, I think, gave up 117 points a game or something stupid like that. And just as now the Atlanta Hawks took the lead. They didn't. But they've cut the lead now to 13. Sadiq Bey hit a 3, and now Bogdan Bogdanovic has a 3-point play on a really stupid foul by Jason Tatum. All of a sudden, Atlanta's got that 30-point lead down to 13. Boston's going to take a timeout.
A little uncomfortable now.
Go make that butt.
Little uncomfortable, bro.
Gonna make that butt pucker, man.
Yeah, man. It's a little uncomfortable now, man.
Anyway, I think the Sacramento Kings will not lose at home. The question is, can Sacramento go to Chase Center and win a game? And I think they can. Gary, says about to order some Papa Murphy's pizza and use the promo code Monty25 to get 25% off your purchase of $25 or more at Papa Murphy's Pizza. Thank you, Monty. Thank you, Gary. Aaron Wilson says there is a Papa Murphy's in Lubbock, Texas. Not missing out in the 806 with the code. Love it. Love you. Tanner says I'm leaning Warriors. Mrs. Monty's in the chat.
Hey, Monty.
Smash the like button, friends. Yes, please smash the like button. That would be phenomenal. As usual. And Tanner wants to know why Mrs. Monty is not here supervising.
I agree. It's a valid question.
It's her day off. It's her day off. That's what I would say. Okay, before we get out of here, again, before we do Knicks Cavs, make sure that you support our friends at Bucked Up Energy. As our NBA playoff preview is presented by Bucked Up Energy, make sure you get in the description below and check out the free samples and shaker cup. But you guys, I cannot rave enough about the Pixie Pump. And do not take my word for it. Go get it right now at buckedup.com. Use the promo code Monty to get 20% off your purchase at Bucked Up Energy, buckedup.com. The Pixie Pump has been phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal, the Pixie Pump has been. I can just tell you today, a little slow on a Saturday morning, 7:30 in the morning, we're rolling out to the gym. You tear that thing open, and the cool thing is you don't need water. It's in a tube. Water. It's in a tube. You tear the top off of it, and you just pour it in your mouth. And it melts on your tongue. Remember Pixie Sticks as kids, like the sugar Pixie Sticks? And guys like you probably never had a Pixie Stick.
Ain't no reset.
Maybe there should be a reset. But you just pour it on your tongue. It melts right away, and it tastes phenomenal. I mean, it is awesome. The Pixie Pump, brand new, the newest product from Bucked Up Energy. Get it at buckedup.com. Use the promo code Monty to get 20% off your purchase. Truck Stop Gumby says bucked up, bucked up, bucked up. Let's go. Hook it up. And again, if you want to get into the description on this show below, make sure you click the link. Free Bucked Up samples. You get 3 of them of your choice. You pick the 3 samples. You pick the colors of your shaker cup from Bucked Up Energy. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Cougar Tail says like Pop Rockets. Very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar. And they're non-stim. So they don't use caffeines or any stimulants in them, and you still get the pump that you want from your pre-workout. But the other time I would use these, if you're somebody that sits in front of a computer and you are, if you're somebody that, you find yourself being drowsy after lunch, or maybe, hey, I'm having a tough time getting going on a Monday morning or a Tuesday morning, or pop open a Pixie Pump from Bucked Up Energy. Pour that in and you're good to go, man, because it'll really pick you up. It gives you that mental sharpness that we all crave. Then I'm telling you can't go wrong. Bucked Up Energy, buckedup.com. Get the Pixie Pump. DW2CB says, we're going to Pixie Pump you up.
That's right. See
yes, you are. Exactly right. Yeah. I mean, it is.
Stay hard.
It's all. I'm telling you guys.
Yeah.
Have you guys tried Bucked Up? Like Jake's over here drinking a Blue Raz.
Yeah, we got a little Blue Raz action happening here.
There you go, little Blue Raz, right?
Yeah.
Our favorite flavor is Miami, but it's almost impossible to get if you go to any of their Bucked Up stores in Utah. I'm telling you, they tell them, hey, I heard about you on the Monty Show. They'll give you a free can of Bucked Up Energy, which is awesome. Cougar Tail says, I got my Woke AF and shaker. I love it. Awesome. Like I'm telling you, the Bucked Up stuff. Mrs. Monty is not a huge energy supplement person. She takes the white can of Bucked Up Energy, which is low stim. She loves it.
Yeah.
In the Mango Tango. Let's update you on the Celtics and Hawks. Atlanta does not convert 100-84 with 8.5 minutes to go. Boston up on Atlanta. And now I would think Boston's going to run clock unless Brogdon's going to turn it over, which he doesn't. But with about 8:20 to go here, I think if Boston just stops screwing around and attacks the basket, they're going to win the game. But again, second chance opportunities gets Jaylen Brown a layup.
Yeah.
And that's why Boston's going to win this series. 102-84, timeout Atlanta with 8:10 to go in the fourth quarter. Coming up on the other side of their game is the penultimate series. Talking with Raphael says not yet. kind of nervous from the caffeine. Get the low stim, dude. You know what, Raphael? I'm telling you, I'm not even saying this. Try the Pixie Pump. It is non-stim. So it doesn't have all the jittery caffeine in it that people worry about. It gives you, and I'm telling you, it gives you that focus, that mental focus, and that pump. By the way, if you do not follow Talking with Raphael on TikTok, he's doing a 75-day challenge.
Yeah, 75 hard.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Get your Pixie Pump, man. I promise you it'll give you mental focus. It'll give you more energy, and it's got no stim in it. So you got to love that, dude.
Yeah.
You absolutely got to love that. Truck Stop Gumby says, I got a blue Razor a blue Raz.
Yeah. I don't know what blue Razor is, but blue Raz.
You know. And then there's Gary who says, I love Bucked Up, especially blue Raz. Man, maybe I'm the only one. Maybe I'm the only one that's not. I'm a Miami guy in Mango Tango.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mango Tango and is my, for sure. Go get it, dude. And Raphael, let me know what you think of it, man, because I'm telling you, the Pixie Pump, I think that might be my new favorite product, almost by far.
Yeah.
From Bucked Up Energy, because it literally tastes like candy. I like the watermelon. It comes in a long tube. You tear off the top and you just pour a little bit at a time on your tongue. It melts right on your tongue, and you feel more awake. You feel more alert, which I love. Okay, let's get to Knicks and Cavs, because I think this is going to be the second best game of the day. We told you the Cavs line moved down. They're only a 5-point favorite at 216.5. That game's coming up in 20 minutes on ESPN. Jake, where are you at on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you have to go with the Cavs, but I think that the Knicks are going to make this a really long series. And I think that if the Cavs turn it over a lot, they're going to lose. And that's the kind of series this is going to be. Like, the Cavs, in my opinion, are a better team, but they're not so much better that if they turn it over, if they play bad basketball, they're not so much better that they're immune from losing to the Knicks. And I think that's the tough part. Like, Julius Randle will make you pay, right? Like, Jalen Brunson will make you pay. And I think that if Donovan Mitchell comes out and is playoff Don and is somebody who is giving you 30-plus in the playoffs, okay, I feel pretty good about the Cavs' chances here. But if it's like 20, 25, that's not going to be good enough to win this series.
Here's the other thing I'm curious about. Who on the Knicks steps up next to Jalen Brunson? I mean, I think Julius is going to play tonight. I think he'll be there. But who is RJ Barrett that dude? That's what I need to know. Is RJ Barrett that dude? I don't know. I think he came back to earth a little bit. They have a lot more firepower this year. Okay, I get that. But if you average 19 points in the regular season, is he 23, 24 a night in the playoffs?
I don't think so, but
I don't think so either.
Maybe this year it's different. Maybe this year he has an awakening and he's just a better player. But I don't see it.
So what percentage do you put on Cleveland winning this series?
I would say it's like 60-40. The problem is that Cleveland.
So you think it's going to be close?
I think it's going to be close. I think that the problem is Cleveland's a younger team, So like when you think about guys like Darius Garland, guys like Evan Mobley, like I mean the core of that team is on the younger side, and Donovan is the guy leading them. So when we saw Don make his return to Salt Lake, like they looked pretty good, admittedly. Now they lose the game, of course, but they had looked pretty good in that game. And Donnie, obviously looks like a more improved player, but I still maintain, I think Jalen Brunson is highly potent in the playoffs. He has this ability.
And he's shown it.
Yeah, to get you in foul trouble, to get high percentage look after high percentage look. So the question's going to be, how do they, A, handle the switch, but then B, how do they, compete with Brunson in the paint, because he does like to manhandle guys. That's what makes me a little nervous, is that, Cleveland can score with the best of them, but I don't know if defensively they got the goods.
One note real quick, by the way. This is a tight game. Atlanta's trying to get back into this thing. They're not going to. Note that John Collins is not on the floor. And if you look at who's on the floor right now for Atlanta, it's Hunter and Bey. It is not John Collins. And I think that's really interesting, because that tells you that Quinn Snyder's in control of this game. And I think that's exactly the way that it should be. And if you look at some of the matchups that they have used, or Okongwu, excuse me, not Hunter, Okongwu is on the floor. But you look at some of the ways that they have used guys. I think this is a very interesting rotation, and I think it's going to be fascinating to me. It's going to be fascinating to me to see exactly how Atlanta's rotations play out and who gets upset about it, because here's DeJounte Murray coming back in and missing a layup.
Yeah.
And that takes the ball out of – that's got to be a take foul on Bogdanovich, right?
Yeah.
Like Bogdanovich is going to lose touches. And now, by the way, here comes John Collins back into the game. And so let's see how this works, because – if Collins is in, I think you have to bring Capella back in.
Agreed.
I think there's no way not to have him back in the game.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how
they're just not good
all
enough.
this plays out.
That's just the reality. They're not good enough to compete with Boston. That's the problem, and they need to get better. And I'd be taking a serious look at trading Trae Young if I was Atlanta.
You would?
Yeah, I would.
You would?
Yeah, because I think you've got a good group here. I think the team is now built around DeJounte Murray, not Trae Young. And oh my God,
Jason Tatum.
Yeah, Jason Tatum just dropped a dude. But
that's Hunter, I think. Yeah,
I think honestly, like, I think since the DeJounte Murray trade, like he's the team is built around him. I really believe that. I mean, I see DeJounte Murray running point. He's calling plays. He's initiating offense. He's doing everything that a star player and a leader would do. And I don't see Trae Young doing those things.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, back to the Knicks real quick. I am very interested to see who steps up for the Knicks. Like, this is one of those games for me, and again, this is just my opinion. This is one of those games for me that I think is absolutely pivotal in the series. The first game of the series is all about setting a tone.
Yeah.
And if this is a 2-3 point game, I think the Knicks have a real chance to win the series. This is a 10-15 point Cleveland win. This series is going to be short.
Yeah.
Because I have no doubt that with a native New Yorker going back home and Donovan Mitchell to take on the Knicks, the Cavs can win in New York.
Yeah.
Can the Knicks win in Cleveland? I don't know that I'm ready to say that. Truly, I do not know that I'm ready to say that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see exactly how all this plays out. By the way, Boston back up 20 with 5:20 to go in the game now, as Jaylen Brown hits another three. But I probably am more optimistic. I find myself saying that a lot today. I think I'm the only one that's a believer in some of the underdogs in these playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that you're more of a believer because of certain aspects, and that's fine. But I'm a guy that says, hey, they need to prove it. Like I like, whether it's players or teams, like, that's great that Sacramento made the playoffs, but now you need to prove that you can beat one of the most savvy, veteran, capable teams around. Now, does that mean that on paper they're better than you? No, absolutely not.
Sure.
But when you get out on the floor and you're in Steph Curry's world, good luck, dude. And I look at this Knicks and Cavs series, dude, when Donnie's in his element and he's got a point to prove in the Garden, good luck.
Yeah,
good luck, bro.
Yeah, I am super stoked for this. I am excited about it. I'm the guy I'm really looking forward to seeing how this series plays out.
Yeah. I do think it's a series we all deserve as basketball fans.
Better series, Knicks Cavs or Kings and Warriors?
I think Knicks Cavs. I just think there's more there.
You're just not interested in
I don't think that. I agree that they don't like each other. I agree the Warriors and Kings have heat, but it's not Donovan Mitchell and the Knicks. It's not Donovan Mitchell going home. It's not, and I think the other problem for the Kings is you haven't been here before. You're the one in uncharted water, bro.
Since 2006.
But
this was
team,
with this team.
You haven't.
This
been
group
here.
of guys has not been here.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Now, that's not to say I want to be clear. I do think it's going to be very close games with the Kings and the Warriors. But when you ask me which series I'm looking forward to more, I'm looking forward to Donovan Mitchell either proving or disproving himself. That's what I watch basketball for. I want to see Devin Booker not have to answer questions after the game as to why he put up 10 points and was like a minus 20 in any given game. Because that's what we got last year. And I don't want to see that anymore. I want to see Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker write their story and kind of put it to bed. I want to see, like, dude, when Book is going off, he's one of the most enjoyable players in the league to watch. Like, the way he plays the game, like, it just is awesome. But Donovan Mitchell, I feel like now there's no excuse. Yeah, I know Cleveland isn't New York City, but it's a big city in our country. It's big enough. The whole, hey, you're in a small market and nobody watches you play, like, that's all over with now. It's time for Donovan Mitchell to grow up, be the guy, make the bucket, take them to where they need to go. And that's why I think Knicks and Cavs has more substance, more heat, more everything you want as a fan than Warriors Kings.
Well, I think it's going to be fascinating, and I am going to lean Knicks in that series, and I'm pretty confident the Kings are going to knock off Golden State.
Okay.
Like, I feel pretty confident about it.
Yeah.
Again, I feel much less confident. Like, I think the Lakers have a chance to beat Memphis. I'm not confident about that. I would put it at, like, my confidence level is like 7 out of 10 that the Kings are going to beat the Warriors.
Yeah.
Because I think you're not, we saw this with the Jazz. If you were a juggernaut offensively in the regular season, that does not necessarily translate to the playoffs, but it translates to the early rounds of the playoffs. And I think the Warriors are so bad on the road and have really struggled defensively at times.
Yeah.
I think the Kings are going to exploit that. And I think speed is a problem. Boy, you weren't kidding about DeJounte Murray.
That's what I'm saying,
Look out, dude.
Like,
this game's down to 12 points, 107-95. And by the way, Boston 107-95 over Atlanta, 3 minutes to go. This has been a terrible half of basketball for the Boston Celtics offensively.
Not good.
Like, they have relied so heavily on the three-point shot, which Al Horford just hit, 110-95. But this has been a terrible half of basketball out of the Celtics.
Yeah.
They have an easy advantage breaking the paint. They should go and use that. And they're not. And what's interesting is Trae Young is not in the game with 2:42 to go. He's been stuck at the table trying to get back in the game for about 4 minutes on the clock now.
Yeah.
And he has not been able to get into the game. And DeJounte Murray, who I agree is the alpha male here, has not been able to carry Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I think it's an interesting, some of the rotations, as I said, it's going to be, that's a travel.
Yeah.
Turnover by Boston. Now Trae Young will get back into the game with 2:20 to go, and now you're down 15.
Yeah.
So it's probably too late at this point, but we shall see.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Dallin Sproul says, hey, hope everyone's doing well. Warriors will beat the Kings, but probably in 7 games. Riley O'Brien says, I don't think Warriors will sweep them, but I'd be stunned if the Kings beat the Warriors in a series. They're still the Golden State Warriors, but I don't know if they are still the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, I think
I don't know if they are.
The performance on the road thing is a problem for sure. There's just no getting around.
And they are.
No getting around
by the way,
that.
if you look at the numbers this season, the Golden State Warriors are I want to say the worst or one of the worst teams in the NBA on the road.
Yeah, there's just no getting around that. And I think that the thing is like to Riley's comment, like, yes, the roster's still largely the same. I mean, yeah, you've got Poole and Wiggs. Like, but you still have Steph, Klay, and Dre. I mean, you still have that core that you're riding.
You also have to rely on Jonathan Kuminga.
I know. And that's why I'm saying Steph is going to have to be good for 30-plus every single night.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not sure that I'm ready to do that, to believe in them. Talking with Raphael podcast. If I put money on a team, it's because I believe they will win, but I love an underdog team winning it all. I think everybody loves an underdog. Dallin says, still the Golden State Warriors means 73-9. I mean, it's not even close to the level of dominance.
Oh, my God. Dude, the Hawks. So the Hawks are this young-ass team, you know, like, and you've got guys like DeAndre Hunter in the game. And Marcus Smart just absolutely swatted Buddy. I'm talking about jumped up like,
oh my God,
like classic get the hell out of here type moment.
Get the hell out of here type moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now Marcus Smart is down in pain. What happened
he got
here?
Hit in the face. Yeah, he got hit in the face.
He looks like he half asleep, and he wants a review. Now he's waving his hand.
Yeah,
like,
let's get a review when you're up like 50 with a minute left.
No, you're just end the game, dude. You're up 13 points, 110-97. Boston over Atlanta. What happened here? Oh, well, DeJounte Murray slapped him in the face. Now, Marcus Smart. I know you guys are going to find this tough to believe. Marcus Smart fell on the floor. He rolled around like it was soccer.
Waves in opposition.
You know. DW2CB says Smart is smarting. Got hit in the face. Good, he's smartest.
I like that. That's well done, sir.
He's
well
smarting.
done. Well done.
All right, there you go. That's our NBA playoff preview for you on a Saturday afternoon. Thanks to our friends at Bucked Up Energy. Make sure you use the promo code Monty to get 20% off your purchase at checkout. Bucked Up Energy, the official energy drink of the Monty Show. Appreciate all the guys at Bucked Up. Appreciate you guys watching the show. Hit the like button on the way out the door. Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.